baby. 332K. Look at it pop up there. Big Daddy Phallic.
I'm incredibly excited because I haven't won a live final seat for football. So, I'm really pretty pumped about that. Talking to people and saw that Tennessee was missing a lot of their guys. So I was like, I got to get some Chargers in there. I took out Calvin Ridley, Nico Collins, and I changed it up for Mike Williams and for Mike Evans.
3rd and long. Mayfield up his back foot. Wants Mike Evans. Got Mike Evans.
And I put Keenan Allen in there instead of DK Metcalf.
Breaks free. He was hitting the helmet. He throws to the end zone. Touchdown. This one toward the end zone. Keenan Allen. Touchdown Chargers.
Changed the Packers to Dallas because I knew I wanted the Dallas defense as much as I could.
There he gets him. It is Parsons. Parsons is waiting for him, and he knocks him down. Oh, the ball is out. Parsons is running with it. Flag is out. Ball intercepted. Curse has it. Gonna launch it. Wilson. And it's intercepted.
And then again at the last second, because of the news, I did the A.J. Dillon to Kyron Williams.
1st and goal from the 6. Stafford, Williams, blockers in front, the cutback, and the touchdown. Higbee in motion on 3rd and 1. Williams towards the goal line, pushing through for the touchdown.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Weekend Review Show, and we've got the same crew as always. We got Big Daddy Phallic in the house here. I know he loved that intro, and we got Mr. Third and Schlong himself, Bryce. I'll take it to Bryce first here. Bryce, how was your long football weekend with the 2-gamer on Monday? How'd it go?
I mean, it's just a marathon of football right now with these Monday games. Had a good college day Saturday. Sunday was pretty much a total break even, as you guys see. Won FanDuel thanks to Raheem Mostert, and lost DraftKings on defense thanks to not having the Buffalo Bills. And last night I won FanDuel Showdown for like $10K, and then for the second game last night, that Bengals game, and then on DraftKings and FanDuel we both hit cash. So it was a good Monday to make up for a very average Sunday.
Oh, nice. I didn't even know we were on for a few minutes talking. I didn't even know you shipped $10K on FanDuel yesterday. So congrats to you.
Mark had that chop too. So it was nice to see both of us up there.
Nice. What was the chop exactly? Was it 10K?
We can I think it was 10K profit because I played the $9 and the $3. And I think the chop on the $9 was $9K, and the chop on the $3 was about $3K.
Nice. All right. Nice. Well, good solid 10K hit for you guys. Congrats to you guys. You guys were up to lock talking through that slate yesterday, all the way up there. I know me, Big T, and Wiley were on before that for about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. And that resulted in my guy, Big T, and I posted it right on the screen to make sure it was up there right when we got on. But if you can't see that, it says $75,000. He hit 3rd place. He had a really good shot at the 500K. He just needed a tiny bit more from Wilcox, I think was the main thing. He needed like another point or so. Pretty much one catch probably from Wilcox would have done it. So it was really close to that 500K, but I want to shout out my guy, Big T. I know he's been grinding. It's been a struggle late, but that's what you do. You come through, and that's what Big T does. He always does this. Everyone goes through cold streaks, and everyone knows this, but the people that keep going, the people that keep playing, they're always playing. They don't let it affect them. That's what happens. It always comes back, and I'm really happy for my guy, Big T, because one of the best guys in the industry. He literally said it, and if you watched the show yesterday, this build, he pretty much gave it out on the show. He said studs with the cheapies. He loved Tutu. And as you can see, that is the build exactly. He loved Hurts. He said Hurts was close to a lock. I mean, this build, my boy Swift's on it too. I was pretty happy about that. But Zacchaeus, cheapie, Wilcox, cheapie. And then he had the 2 studs. He loved Chase. A.J. Brown with Chase. I mean, he gave this build out on the show. So if you watch the show, you probably did a pretty good job if you followed my guy, Big T. So shout out to him. Again, $75,000. I'll bring my boy Big Daddy Phallic in. Kevin, how you doing today?
Doing well. I unfortunately lost all $332,000 on Sunday and Monday, so back to zero. But we're gonna build it back up. No, it was a good weekend. Not for DFS. It was a busy weekend. A lot of family stuff, and Jewish holidays are finally over again, which is always lovely. But we made it through. We've made it through this week. We're into the last week of baseball, getting ready for another week of college football and another great week of NFL this weekend coming up. Should be a good one. And I'm excited to go over the slate. I will also say, JSU, I sent you the screenshot, but one of my 333 one of the people I gave the 333 to didn't pick the best contest, to be honest, but he scored 276 and got 9th place in the Millie Maker for $10,000. So I'd be happy to talk about contest selection again, but when you're entering two, I see he has two entries into the $1 million tournament. If you're in it to just have some fun and win some money, I totally get it, and I will 100% support it. As Tony says, it costs you that much to go to the movie theater and go to a movie and get yourself some popcorn. So enjoy your 6 hours of watching football and enjoying those teams. But if you're wanting to win some good money in this, I would say that entering $40 into that tournament versus entering $40 into every other tournament is not the best way to do it personally. 9th place, $10,000, 276.24 points.
You did send me the screenshot, and we'll talk about this team because I'll put it up there and we'll go over it a little bit. But shout out to him. Was it Kate Gallig Harp 7? Is his DK name or whatever?
Moose 24 is his Discord name. Yeah.
All right. Well, Moose 24. We'll go Moose 24 there. Shout out to you for the 10K shipper given to you by Mr. Phallic, Big Daddy Phallic. So that's one of the reasons to come aboard. I know Tony's going to be giving away, I think, a 555 ticket. Check out, if you didn't see his Twitter, go check out Big T's Twitter at Big T44. 44% off anything at the shop. So anything at the Run Pure Sports shop for clothing, hats, sweatshirts, you get 44% off. You use that code, and you'll be entered in to win a 555 ticket. Yes,
my kids have told me 10 times already that fall started on Saturday, 23rd. They learned it in school quite a bit, so they were very excited to tell me that the fall season has begun. Get ready for fall season by wearing these beautiful red sweatshirts that these two gentlemen are wearing right now.
I will say it is very comfy too. I'm not going to lie. Bryce has I think it's the Under Armour one. I got the Jordan one. They're both really comfy. So,
I'm determined to get the quarter zips into the marketplace.
You better talk to Amber. Amber
the shop needs the quarter zips. Well, Amber just followed me on Twitter, so I can now. I feel like I won. I got.
You've officially made it. You've officially made it.
Once you got Miss Amber following you, that's all you need. Now you made it. So you're good.
I want to take away Tony's thunder, and I want to hear the story of your free DraftKings luggage because I don't want it to come from him. I want it to come from you.
You know, I do just want to undercut Big T so friggin' bad and just tell the story just so he can't. But at the same time, Tony loves telling stories, and it will crush him. So as being the good friend I am, even though he's going to make fun of me, I will allow him to hold this story for Sunday. It's just a classic. It's a classic me story. If you know anything about me, when he tells the story, you're going to be like, yep, sounds like JSU. You're just going to chuckle and say, yep, that's him. So, yeah, I'll save that story for Sunday. But I do want to talk about this lineup real quick, and then we can branch off to cash. I know Bryce wanted to talk the cash lineup from last night, so I'll pull that up next. And then we can talk through all the members that sent us their winning lineups and Bryce's main slate cash lineup as well. So let's do Tony's lineup first here. And I already talked about it a little bit, but clearly Hurts was the best play at quarterback. I think that was very obvious. the interesting part was he only came in at 38% or something like that owned, which I thought was low. I thought he was going to come in like 50%, right? Like, is anyone else think that's low for
I
the tournament?
I kind of had him between 35 and 50, so it was slightly on the low end. I didn't think he'd be over 50%. It's really hard to get a QB over 50% on a 2-gamer. But
yeah,
I
just thought he was clearly the best
45.
play. I just thought he was clearly the best play.
I thought Burrow was the best play personally, but yeah.
You did? Okay, well.
Burrow ran kind of bad to not put up a better score as well. Like this was kind of a floor game for Hurts too.
The guy I thought who ran kind of bad was Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans dropped a touchdown, dropped an easy touchdown. He would have had a monster day. I'm glad for Big T he didn't have a monster day because he didn't have Mike Evans in this build. But Mike Evans should have had 2 touchdowns. Who else dropped? AJ Brown dropped like 2 touchdowns. One of them at the end was really bad. But there was a few plays where
I was tilting the Mike Evans one because, as you guys will see on DraftKings, Cash was literally 1v1. T. Higgins against Mike Evans. And I had Mike Evans. So the whole game, I was like, God, I wish he caught that touchdown. Then he had a great final last drive, and I felt really good after that.
Yeah, so, that last drive, he had two big catches, and then the touchdown catch at the end, which was huge. So he saved your night at the end.
Sick.
The one-handed catch was the second best catch of the day. The first best was the interception.
Rams freaking cornerback.
Yeah.
That was nuts.
That was one of the craziest interceptions I think I've seen.
I didn't get to watch much of the games last night. I had people over for the holiday, but got to watch. I literally turned it on, and the first play I saw was that interception. I was like, it seems like the games have been pretty freaking boring based off of these scores, but I'm glad I got to see that interception, which it was incredible, just so impressive. Tyler Boyd should have done more, but it was you could see
he tried to come back to the ball, but it was too late at that point. He just missed it. He should have, but
perfect Joe Burrow placement. You can't even blame Burrow for that. That was just an amazing play. It was just
I mean, I don't even blame Boyd that much. Yeah. That play was sick. That play was sick. If that play happens 100 times, he makes that play once or twice, I think. Maybe. So that play was sick. All right, let me just go through. If you didn't watch the show yesterday with me, Big T, and Wiley, I'm just going to point out a few things. So, one, we all said Hurts was close to a lock. He was by far the best quarterback play. Tutu Atwell was Big T, I think, and Wiley's favorite Rams receiver. So he's on this build. They also talked about studs and cheapies. Wiley's favorite cheapie was Zacchaeus, Olamide Zacchaeus, who caught that touchdown in the beginning. So if you watch the show, you definitely got on him. 3% owned too, so that was huge. And then both those guys loved the cheap tight ends and the cheap tight end builds. And Wilcox was their favorite, Cincinnati tight end. But obviously it was more just the idea of the cheap tight end to get you the stud build, which he had with Chase, and then Chase was Big T's favorite. I think he was his favorite play just overall, as a spend. So you look at this lineup, and it was literally exactly, if you listen to that show and you go back and watch it, this lineup, it is perfectly placed for exactly what they were talking about pretty much the whole show. And I love to see it. Anyone who followed it is going to know for a fact this is exactly what he was talking about, this type of build on the show. So it's perfect he won with this type of build because it's exactly what they were kind of pointing to on that show without just literally going this lineup, throughout the board, just saying each player. But, anything else you guys have from this lineup or anything you see?
Just Jamar Chase at 38%. On a 2-game slate, especially when he wasn't incredibly hard to fit in. There were some solid cheap plays. Zacchaeus, Mark and I talked him up as well. My big cheapie was Boyd, but I mean, he was obviously the chalk cheap play at 3.5K. There wasn't a whole lot to spend on at running back or tight end. So I was kind of surprised that Chase came in that low.
Yeah, the other thing we talked about was we didn't like running back. So we talked about 4 receiver builds mainly, trying to stick to 4 receiver builds. That was another thing we kind of really pushed on that show. And 4 receiver builds were definitely, I think, the right way to go. K Falik, anything else you see before we move on?
Yeah, what can you say? It's a great build. Huge win for Tony. I did the 2 tight end build personally. I did Auden and Goddard. I went that route.
I ran pretty bad. They missed on a few plays
Well,
to him.
he started
that
off
screen
hot at the
pass
beginning of the
setup
game.
was that screen pass setup down there when they were like it was kind of closer to the red zone area. Yeah,
They were
it
on
was
like
in the red
15
zone.
or 20.
That play was set up perfectly. Like, I don't know if he would have scored, but that was a really good setup, and they just whiffed on it.
They went away from him after he started dropping it. His first catch he made was great. That was a really tough catch. I did not know he was a no glove guy. I don't trust the no glove guys in wet weather.
Yeah, no glove guy. That's
no glove guy. I mean, I'm fine with no gloves, but no gloves when it's raining is a little tougher.
Yeah, I mean, clearly that's just how he prefers it all the time. I mean, just no glove all the time. So, yeah, that's interesting. But he was a cheap play that I know people, really liked. I liked him too. 3K. But it's just the idea of cheap tight ends. So,
do you have an Excel spreadsheet you can send us of no glove guys if that's going to be your thing? I need the full list now.
No, because then I sound like a pussy and I'm like calling for like condom plays. So I don't think we're going to keep up that bit. I just question how much like better you would be at catching, especially when it's raining.
Right.
Like I played football. Like you don't want your gloves to get like insanely wet, but like you spit on them to get them a little wet just to make sure that like it has some extra grip.
All right. Well, as you guys talk about these no gloves and making sure everything's wet and moist, I'm gonna go and pull up Bryce's cash lineup. Get that onto the screen here. So give me 1 second. Gotta make sure it's the right one too.
I forgot to add, we got Ryder Cup this weekend too. So we got like a busy.
Ryder Cup is my favorite DFS event of all time.
It's so fun. So good.
I love the President's Cup. I was talking about this in a group chat earlier. I was like, I literally shipped with Tom Kim last year in my single entry just because no one played Tom Kim, and I knew that he played every match.
Oh, he
it's
did.
All about
I'm good.
Yeah, it's all about predicting like who plays all the matches. So I think it adds a really fun aspect to like golf.
Well, I think you can play
Bryce,
you can also play the cheapies that are not in the first match, but you think they could be in all the rest of the matches is also a very interesting strategy. So you can get everybody that plays in all 5 of the rest of the matches. So
yeah, and typically Europe's they rotate a little less just because their team's a little more top heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it'll be fun to see some of these pairings. Like if Burns plays with Scotty day 1. Like he's going to be super popular and stuff. So we'll see how that all works out. This is DraftKings cash build from last night. As I said, that 112 team is literally this exact team I have, but with T. Higgins over Mike Evans. I thought it was a pretty clear build. The only other 2v2 I looked at was Rashad White over Mike Evans, and then you could get up to the Eagles defense. But I was fine with the Bengals defense going up against Stafford at home. I thought that there was no difference between the Eagles and the Bengals defenses in this spot. Chase was a lock for me. It was just too easy to fit him. Puka didn't really work out as well last night as he had been. He was a lock for me. Mixon and Kyron Hurts were all locks for me as well at those prices. Kyron could have had a way better night if he caught some of those dump downs. I think he probably missed like 5 dump downs. I think he dropped 2, and then Stafford made awful throws on the other 3. Tyler Boyd was kind of the guy that made it all fit. 3,500 is just super cheap for him. He's not like the sexiest play ever, but like anytime you get a guy that's propped at like 40 yards, that's 3.5K, like 9 points is all you need. 9 points is great from a 3,500 dude because he lets you fit every other stud in your team. So that's kind of how I came up with the build. And yeah, the last decision was Evans or or Puka. I kind of thought that Tampa Bay wouldn't be able to run the ball and just would have had to throw the ball a ton, which they ended up having to do at the very end, but they waited too long to do it. I think that was one of the most inefficient run games I'd ever seen last night, and they kept continuing to try and establish it, and it just did not work out.
You watch that team too. They do try and run the football because they
Yeah.
know they have Baker Mayfield at quarterback, but against the team with a front like Philly, it's just not as easy to do. You have to beat Philly through the air, and that they came in with a poor game plan, and then at the end they try and start chucking it around. But you can't get behind with a team like Philly because Philly can just, and this is the problem with Philadelphia. Whenever they want to just decide we're going to pound the rock down your throat and run the clock out, they can do it. This is the problem, like with playing Philly in DFS or anything. When they get a lead like this, they can just decide to literally just run 8-9 minutes off the clock in the fourth quarter.
Especially because they go for it on 4th and 1 every time. And most teams will just punt it away. So it's like every other team in the NFL is getting off the field and they're getting an extra play because they just do the tush push with Hurts. And
they're getting the 1 yard every time. Well,
it gets
when you have like a 90% or 95% success rate on something, you're just going to keep doing it. Like even like any coach should be doing that. But I mean,
so they can run different plays from 3rd and 2 because they're just trying to get to 4th and 1 because they know they have it.
Yeah. But so my point though is like it's different like when you're playing the Eagles and you're like, oh, they're going to get up on this team, 3 touchdowns and then that team's going to have to throw. And it's like, I still don't like it as much in like main slate stuff because they can just control the clock whenever they decide to and pound the rock. So, and DeAndre Swift, Kenneth Gainwell, if you listen, I pegged that thing perfectly. It was pretty much a 50-50 time split. DeAndre Swift was better. That was clear and obvious. I think if the game was close, though, I do think Swift would have had more opportunity late. And so maybe it could have been like a 60-40. But I think that's what we'll see most of the year. You know what I mean? Those guys kind of split in trying to keep everyone healthy. And then maybe in the playoffs, you see, Swift maybe, come out a little bit and play a little bit more than Gainwell. But I thought that if Swift gets that type of, if he gets that type of touches, like 16 to 20 touches a game, I'd be pretty happy, honestly.
I think I would love to see the stats from the first 3 quarters when it wasn't quite such a blowout, but that's some stuff.
I think Swift was way more involved in the first 3 quarters.
Yeah.
I wonder what the snaps were in the first 3 quarters. Probably was like 60-40 or 65-35, something like that. I would bet. Because Kenny played like the whole fourth quarter, it looked like.
Yeah.
So, or at least that long drive anyway. So, all right. Anything else here, Fallick? Anything on this build, or can we move to the main slate?
Sean, how many were splitting at 6th place?
Let's see. I have this contest pulled up. It was they ended up making $50 on the team. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 out of, I think, 24.
24.
Yeah. I mean, the cash team just kind of built itself, and I was on an island with Evans, so that pretty much determined my night. And
I'm never going to do I just can't do cash for that reason.
Well, this is why I don't press action on these slates. And you'll see FanDuel was not like a huge chop, like because FanDuel pricing was way tighter. But no, I really just try and sell head-to-heads on a slate like this and not play like heavy volume. I think I had like I probably had maybe 1/6 or 1/7 of the action that I would like normally have on a main DraftKings slate. Like if I sell some games and sell some head-to-heads, I'll definitely gamble more on a 2-gamer. But I mean, getting duped that many times is never fun. And I kind of knew it was going to be a huge train going in. It was just
I would just close the laptop and say I shouldn't have ever played this and moved on.
Yeah.
This was FanDuel, Bryce. I don't know if you wanted to.
Yeah, this was the FanDuel tournament team. This won the $9 and the $3 for Showdown. It was close to zeroing out salary, I think. I kind of a chalky build, but it was a little different because like it had Chase at captain without Burrow, which wasn't bad just because Burrow is so expensive. So like you get Stafford as your quarterback with him, just makes it a little bit different. And I played a ton of Chase captain last night, so it kind of let me get like weirder combinations like this. But yeah, I mean, it's just 4 really good plays and the kicker who went insane.
Yeah, I love the kickers last night. I really did like the kickers. I had a ton of McPherson. I just didn't have enough. I had a lot of these builds too. I just didn't have enough Chase to probably get like this one here. You probably had more Chase than I did, so that's probably what was my downfall.
I had a ton of Burrow, but I had a ton of Chase at captain, which was the difference. I really thought that he was gonna like get fed the rock here and kind of be a slate breaker. And we can go over my FanDuel team, but it might have been a mistake to play Puka over Chase in cash. The cash difference was just really big there.
But just so people, if anyone's just listening to us, I do just want to say, so the team was MVP Jamar Chase, Matthew Stafford in the flex, Joe Mixon, Tutu Atwell, and then Evan McPherson, the kicker for the Cincinnati Bengals. So this was, even though it was a chop and it was a decent chop, it was still like somewhat different because there was no Joe Burrow. You had the kicker with his wide receiver at MVP. There were a little bit of, differences. So I do think it's a pretty solid build overall. And you hit for just over 10K with it. So nice build from you. Let's pull that thing up. Do you want to go to the main slate now, Bryce?
We can do FanDuel cash for the 2-game real quick.
Okay.
I think,
let's see here. I got it up. All right. So your team was Jalen Hurts, Joe Mixon, Rashad White, Chris Godwin, Puka, Tutu Atwell, Cade Otton, Kyron Williams with the Bengals D. So talk about that.
So this was a 2v2 off the chalk team. Once again, the chalk team included T. Higgins. This time it was over Chris Godwin, who I didn't love at all. Godwin was kind of last man in. But I didn't really like the Bucs defense, which you had to play to get T. Higgins. I think the correct play here was dropping Puka and Godwin to get Chase and Van Jefferson would have fit. Van Jefferson is not that sexy of a punt, but I don't think he was that much worse than Godwin. And in retrospect, Chase is so much better than Puka, like week in and week out. Like Puka is still like a really good player, but he's not going to get 20 targets every single week. And Chase at home in a game where Burrow needs to get the ball out fast, especially on a 2-game slate, I think should have been a priority even at 8,500, where it was a little harder to fade him. So going forward, I think that was a mistake that like I could have improved on in this build. I would have played the same team on DraftKings if we had to go back and do it. I mean, Godwin was also 1 yard away from a touchdown, but he got tackled at like stretching the ball out at the pylon. But
he tried to reach for that pylon.
Well, Mike Evans ended up getting the touchdown, so I think that was a net positive for me overall. But yeah, I mean, the cash teams. I mean, you were always playing Mixon, Wright, and Williams here. The 3 running backs just have such a good floor. I mean, White and Williams had very flourish games, but I still think that was correct. I was never fading Hurts. I think we had 2 guys in this contest fade Hurts. And they made up for it somewhat with Jamar Chase. But I was like, I would have rather just punted someone to get Chase than not play Hurts. Cade Otton, not the sexiest play. I would have liked to get up to Goddard here personally. But you really needed the 900. I thought Godwin was way better than these 5K receivers. And I think Van Jefferson might have been a better play than I give him credit for at 5.3K. Boyd was priced all the way up to 5.7K here. I wasn't playing a 5.7K Boyd. I would rather just drop the extra 400 because that would have gotten you Chase over Puka.
And again, notice the theme here. Both these builds, he's got Hurts in cash. He's got Hurts as his quarterback for both DraftKings and FanDuel. Not one other Philly guy. Again,
you never need to pay Hurts. And I get asked this question a million times, like, do I need my quarterback paired? I'm like,
right.
if it's a tiebreaker and you're playing like triple ups and like some of the flatter payout structure tournaments, like, yeah, you want to, it probably helps your equity a bit to have them paired, but it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to do.
Right. And that's my
point.
I was just bringing it up.
It works out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a point to bring up, like that does not come into the equation when building, like, oh, I need to get a wide receiver. Not that you wouldn't have taken AJ Brown, or it's not saying that. It's just saying, like, you're not like, okay, this is my quarterback, I need to pair my quarterback now. That's not your first instinct. So just a different style when building cash. So I want people to kind of recognize that. But Kevin, anything else here on this?
No, I'm good. I think you'll talk.
All right, let's move on to the other cash builds here, and I'm gonna pull this off. Do you want to start with DraftKings, Bryce, or?
Yeah, we'll get the ugly one out of the way first.
Okay.
And then get to the fun one.
We'll start with DraftKings then. Here we go. So this team here, this was the Kirk Cousins team, right, Bryce?
Yeah. Well, I had Cousins on both sides, but yeah.
Yeah. On DK, though, is what I meant.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, no, I sent JSU like 5 teams this morning to review just because we had I don't think we'll be doing the reviews for these 2-game slates anymore because after this week, there aren't any. It's all back to single game Mondays.
We got overseas games this week and for the future. So.
Oh yeah, and we have some of the best games overseas this year. I think Chiefs Dolphins is probably like the game of the year, and that's going to be in London.
Yep, we got Falcons against Jags this week.
There we go.
Can't wait to talk about how bad the Jags looked against my Texans. It's
Falcons Jags this week. Oh yeah. God,
that's the
stay
Sunday
away
morning,
from that
that's
game.
That's the Sunday morning game.
Thank God it's an island game. I don't want the Jaguars anywhere near a main slate for at least another week or two.
I think they are
forget about them.
They are in London for 2 weeks in a row. They're staying in London for 2 weeks. They're playing.
They can stay there for the rest of the year.
Well, I think that may happen in the future. The Jaguars are playing the Falcons as a home game this week, and then they play the Bills next week as a road team.
Yeah.
Yeah, their owner owns some high-profile soccer teams over there. I think he definitely wants to move them to London at some point. So
good. Get them out. Get them over there. They stink. All right. Kirk Cousins, Zach Moss, Joshua Kelly, Justin Jefferson, Mike Williams, Christian Kirk, Darren Smythe, Alexander Madison, and the Jets defense was your cash build on DraftKings. Put up 156 points. Bryce, talk about this team and what you could have done better or what you liked about it.
So what I could have done better was gone and edit the salaries to make me have $100 more for the Bills defense because I simply lost the slate there. They scored 32 points and the Jets got 4 and the Bills were $100 more. I never let defense decide a slate for me. So I was okay with the Jets defense in a really poor weather game at home. They're a high-pressure defense. They ended up getting no turnovers and no sacks. So that wasn't particularly fun. It's just really hard to make up 28 points in cash at defense. I would have needed like a Raheem Mostert outlier type of game here to do it. And Mostert was in my player pool, and you'll see I played him on FanDuel. I had a lot of very similar thoughts this week. I think I had 7 shared players between the 2 lineups, which is not necessarily my favorite thing because it's typically you either win everything or you lose everything. My shared players were Cousins, Kelly, Jefferson, Williams, Kirk, and Madison. So it was pretty much the Jets. It was pretty much the exact same team. I thought Zach Moss was a better player than people were giving him credit for. He got 30 carries. I think with the volume at 5.5K, that was a little too good for me to pass up. I personally was never fading Justin Jefferson in the highest total week game of the week at home. I really liked Mike Williams in that game. I thought he was simply too cheap on both sides. It kind of sucked that he got hurt. A couple more points could have really helped me. Christian Kirk actually out-targeted Ridley. I thought he was I thought he was a very solid play without Zay Jones in because he's going to play in all the 2 receiver sets when he was getting relegated to 3 receiver sets, and his price had reflected that. I'm always fine at punting tight end. Smythe ended up not playing at all. They just ran the ball after. I think he caught the first pass of the game and played 9 snaps after that. So Kelsey. There were builds I looked at with Kelsey, but it involved dropping. But they also had Smythe. No, they also had Smythe. It was 2 tight end builds. So I was always punting one of the tight ends. I think one I looked at that would have won that was a really good team was Tank Dell and Kelsey in the Bills defense over Kirk, Moss, and the Jets defense. And obviously that gets super skewed. Tank Dell caught a 70-yard touchdown at the end of the game, kind of in garbage time. And then, you're losing it. If you lose by 28 points at defense, I don't think you're ever really going to win a slate. So I don't necessarily think I made any mistakes here. And I'm pretty happy with my work overall in the weekend. It's just a really bad run out to lose by 28 points at defense. So,
well, listen though, that's going to happen. It's going to happen 3 or 4 more weeks. Yeah,
it's just
it's going to happen.
It's just frustrating when it happens, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should have found the extra $100 for it, and you're just tilting on Sunday because of it. So, ended up breaking even. I didn't really cash much on DraftKings. Won some head-to-heads. Getting head-to-heads in cash are really nice, just because you're not going to be playing against the chalk builds all the time. So, and it gives you a little more variance. Say you win 40% of your head-to-heads, you're getting 40% of your money back. If you finish 40th percentile in a 50-50 and double up and you play 100 of those, you're getting $0 back. It's just more an all or nothing proposition.
Yep. Yeah. So we got the FanDuel team up here now. It was Kirk Cousins, Alexander Madison, Raheem Mostert, Justin Jefferson, Christian Kirk, Mike Williams, Evan Ingram, Joshua Kelly, and the Jets defense. And this team, the pricing is definitely different on FanDuel, and that's probably why you had a little more. You had Mostert on this team, obviously, which was huge for you. You still got up to Jefferson. You said Mike Williams was too cheap on both sites, which he was. He smashed. And, outside of that, similar Kirk Cousins, Madison. You had similar guys. It was just did you have Cooper on that team too? Or no, you didn't have Cooper?
No, Cooper was a play I really liked, which is why I was showing you guys the other team. I actually looked
got
at this
screwed, royally screwed from another touchdown.
Yeah.
That was bullshit, by the way. When they blew the whistle,
yeah.
I don't know did you see that, Bryce? They blew, so he caught the ball on the sideline, and they blew the whistle like he stepped out of bounds. He clearly didn't step out of bounds. And then,
I hate early whistles.
It's
the most frustrating
thing. Stupidest thing ever, though. So first of all, if you're the ref, you don't see his foot go down. Even if you thought his foot went down, though, just let the play run out, and then you can always go back and review it or something like that. It just makes no sense to me because his foot was clearly not out, and they called him out. It was just crazy.
That's one of the most tilting things when it happens to you. The Sam Laporta scored an early 50-yard touchdown, and he was super high owned. I think he was a really good play in retrospect with kind of a banged up Detroit team that's looking for targets. And Laporta is an insane talent for those of you who didn't know him from college. Iowa's just been kind of tight end recently, and he's an absolute stud. I really like the Jags guys here, Kirk and Ingram. I prioritized Kirk over Cooper, which was a very close decision for me. Cooper being a little banged up coming into the game is kind of what got me onto Kirk a little more. But Cooper was a really good play facing Tennessee defense that you can't really run the ball on. So, they have to skew very, very pass heavy. I really liked Raheem Mostert this week. I think he always plays better in a no PPR or a half PPR style scoring with 6 points for rushing touchdown, like FanDuel scoring compared to DraftKings. I think Raheem Mostert's always a better play on FanDuel, just because the scoring system benefits his game a ton. I basically won the slate there because for those of you who can't see, he was 55% owned, and overcoming, say you played a Jahmyr Gibbs or a different type of running back, overcoming, once again, it's like defense on DraftKings, but it helped me out here. Like overcoming a monster game from one of these guys is super hard. I wanted some Miami exposure, knowing I was fading Tyreek. I thought the best way to get it was with Mostert. I didn't really love punting tight end at FanDuel if you didn't have to. Evan Ingram's been super involved in their pass game, and I was very high on Jacksonville's pass game here, and they kind of laid down flat. Mike Williams at 7.2K was a little pricier, but once again, his game plays better on FanDuel than DraftKings with his touchdown equity. And he kind of got unlucky not to have two. Herbert missed him for an easy 50-yard walk-in touchdown, kind of right before he scored the other one.
Wide open.
It's like he pump fake to slant and go, and then just went off him on the go, and they totally bid for it.
Well, now he's not. Now he's not good on any slate because he's done for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
so Mike Williams.
I just really hope
got your good game out of him at least.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a Mike Williams fan for a long time, so that kind of sucks to see. I'm glad he got there before he got hurt because that would have really put a damper on my weekend. Joshua Kelly, I just never want to see this guy again. He's an awful player. They don't look for him in the pass game. It's clear he doesn't have the Eckler role. I would wish these sites would price him up a bit. I would have considered fading him after how bad he looked against the Tennessee defense, but I also thought that was an extreme low outcome against a really good run defense going into the best game environment of the week when he was just as cheap. So I had Kelly as a lock. I think I would love to never have to play this guy again. Is probably the last thing I'll say on the weekend. And then I always opt for running quarterbacks on FanDuel in general, but I was fine with Kirk Cousins in a pass-first offense in a track meet at home in their dome.
Yeah, I thought Kirk Cousins was definitely one of the more safer quarterbacks for sure. Him and Herbert, obviously. So if you could have got the one of them, that made sense in cash. I mean, this build looks really good. Obviously, Raheem Mostert, you would have liked to have him on any site, DraftKings or FanDuel, when a guy puts up 40 or 50. But Falik, anything else here before we get to the tournament builds?
No, the only thing I'll say is it's going to be interesting to see how people react to this week, but it's only a 42.5 total this so far. But I'm going to stand by it, and I'm going to keep on doing it. Is attacking this Titans cornerbacks has just been. Guess
who plays them this week?
The Bengals.
Jamar Chase plays them this week, so that'll be interesting right there.
It is incredible, and Mike Vrabel's starting to throw them under the bus. Their DBs. I'm based out of Nashville, so I listen to the radio every once in a while, and I'll hear his press conferences, and he literally said Christian Fulton, that was completely his fault. He completely missed everything, and he screwed up, and it's on him. And that's as much as you want to appreciate a coach that does that when he calls out his players. It also creates a little bit of animosity on the players, and if they can't handle those kind of things. So, yeah.
Yeah, never a good thing when you start calling out your players, but he's trying to rile them up. This was your boy K Gallup Harp 7, who finished 9th in the Millie Maker, won $10,000 off of some of K Falik's 333 tickets he was giving away from last week. So shout out to him. I think he's Moose 24 or something you said in the Discord. So you can hit him up if you want. Tell him congrats. 10K winner. His team, Andy Dalton, who came in at 2% owned. I know Big T court Andy Dalton, Kenneth Walker, Raheem Mostert, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Mike Williams, Travis Kelce, Tank Dell, and the Bills D. I mean, this literally sounds like close to the nut team. I know it didn't win the Millie Maker, but I wonder what was the winning lineup? What did it have?
That is such a good team.
Right? I'm thinking in my head, how did this team not win?
The winner was
He probably had Sam Laporta the winner.
Goff, Walker, Mostert, Hill, Allen, Dell, Laporta, Thielen, and Bills.
It was really hard to win without Keenan because he threw the passing touchdown.
This guy won the Millie twice. He got first and second because he played the same lineup. He got first. This guy got first, second, third, and fifth.
That's running pure right there. That's nice, right? When it happens that way. So
yeah.
But yeah, either way, I mean, this lineup was friggin' awesome. On like a normal slate, how this lineup doesn't ship the Millie is crazy. But this wasn't a normal slate last week, and like Alex said, Keenan, Tyreek Hill both smashed, and you probably wanted, Keenan for sure at his price tag. But either way, this team is awesome. I mean, Kevin, anything to poke a hole in this team? He's got a quarterback with a receiver. He's got the run back, secondary stack with Minnesota and Chargers with Mike Will and Justin Jefferson.
The only thing is going to be what I always say is leave yourself the opportunity to switch if you need to. Thielen's going to be in the flex spot. Tank Dell should be in the wide receiver spot. I know it doesn't happen often that you need to do something, but that Kyron Williams news, if it would have come out at 252 or whatever, 352 last week, instead of it coming out at 11:52 or 12:52, depending on what time zone you're in, I would have wanted to have as much flexibility to move on that. Again, he didn't have a ton of flexibility anyways. He only had, he did. He had 3 players. And then the other thing is I will say, if you're playing for fun and wanting to win a millie, totally get it. But if you're playing to win some money in here and long-term win, I would say that the millie maker tourneys are not necessarily going to be your easiest chance to win. He would have won I just pulled up one tournament, the Red Zone, which is a $50 single entry, which is $50K, 5K to first. He would have won that by 18 points, and it would have been there are plenty of tournaments that I would choose over it personally. Like there's the 10K, the 100K Red Zone. He would have won. Let's see. I have to go so far down to find mine. He would have won 10K and would have won by 24 points. Just like I personally will continue to say, if you're not playing 150 lineups in the Millie Maker, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by playing them. If you're just wanting to, if you are a person that is running to strategically enter tournaments to win as much money as you possibly can, and not just wanting to do the lottery ticket, as said, for the Millie Maker, I would definitely not be entering those type of tournaments.
I think a really good tournament to get away from the Millie Maker, or like say you want to play like a 3-max strategy or something, like you can add it to your repertoire, is the slant. It's $9. It's super flat. I think for guys that are looking for a little less variance in their play, that's a really solid tournament for around the same price point. And you can play both with the same team, and play it in like a higher dollar single entry as well, to like kind of give yourself the diversification of like a lower dollar flatter, a higher dollar flatter, and then like a lower dollar like winner take all, basically.
Yeah, so that's how I would. So you don't know who's entering these lineups. You don't know what they're looking for. I mean, clearly, if you're entering the Millie Maker, you're kind of just looking for that one shot shipper where you pray it hits the winner and stuff like that. But I would be more like on the Bryce side, where you could still put it in the Millie, but then maybe put it in one like higher dollar tournament, so you have a little less, you have some more outs. It's not just like hitting the complete nuts like this guy pretty much did, right? But like, even if it didn't hit the complete nuts and you had a good team, like you in the higher dollar, you're probably going to win, still with a little less than, the Millie Maker. So
yeah, I call the Millie Maker the peace of mind tax, just because
that's what I do.
If I have it, it's like, oh, okay, I not that I'm pissing the money away. Like the Millie Makers is actually like a pretty high return on investment. It's just mega variance, and not a lot of people have the bankroll to sustain the mega variance tournaments. So like, I call it the peace of mind tax. It's just like, okay, here's $20 to make sure that I don't jump off a bridge when I would have won it.
Yep.
And
that's
been
the
playing it
thing.
for
It's
years.
like if I would have won it, I'm gonna feel like
Well, that's why,
such a
like-
complete asshole. So I have to put it in there.
Yeah,
But you can
well, that's
say
why it's
y'all
like-
can say, but I got to be honest, y'all can say that as high level or not high level, high bankroll players. Like if you're playing $50 a slate and that's your maximum amount you're playing a slate and you're wanting to win money off of it, sustain money winning off of it, what are you doing with the $50?
I wouldn't play the Millie Maker with it.
Absolutely
I
not.
think if I had $150, I would probably still play the Millie Maker. Like if you put $150 on a team, I would play the Millie Maker, the slant, and like the $100 single entry, or the $50 single entry.
That's what I would do exactly.
Well,
I
again,
would play the $100 single entry, and then I'd play the slant and the Millie Maker.
See, what's funny
Yeah.
is it all depends. I've said it numerous times, and I'll say it again here because people are watching. And this is the type of stuff you get on from Run Pure, and I get asked it all the time. There's the sharks, or as you say it, the people who have won a good amount of money on DraftKings cannot play any tournaments below $4.99 that are a certain like I have the information. I drop it all the time.
I can't play below $5.
Yeah. So those are the if it were me, I'd be filling up those tournaments first in the single entry and 3 max, see how much money that gets me through, then make the decision. Am I going to play the 20 max in that one, or am I going to go to single entry and 3 max above $5? Like I would do as much as I could to get in the single entry and 3 max stuff below $5.
Yeah. That goes for cash games as well. If you can play those games, like those cash games are significantly softer than like a $5, like the big $5 double up.
Yeah, so that's one thing too, is definitely finding contests where you don't see like the regular 150ers, or you don't see like the regular sharks just on a day in and day out basis. The people who are playing high volume every day, that's a way to kind of get away from those guys and build your bankroll. Kind of what Phallic and Bryce are throwing out there.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
both good ways.
I'm manually going through and checking like these 11-man double ups on DraftKings. Like there's billions of them, but like a lot of times they'll have like 8 or 9 sharks already sitting in it, and I don't think there's an edge for me in that game.
So here's the paragraph. Sorry to cut. It says the highest volume players are ineligible to enter contests if the entry fee is less than $3 completely. They are also ineligible to enter contests with the entry fee is less than $5 if the prize pool is less than $25,000. All contests with an entry fee less than $5 are 20 max, with the exception of mini max contests.
There you go.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you haven't hit those limits yet, and there's probably a lot of out there that haven't. I mean, they're just soccer contests. You're playing weaker competition, and it's great to take advantage of, especially in NFL, where those contests actually fill a lot of. Like those contests spawn all the time in the lobby. Like I see them when I don't have it filtered out. Like I set my filters at $5 because like I can't play anything under that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm the same as you. I don't play anything pretty much under $5, so it's the same idea. But both good strategy points for most of the people probably watching that can still play those games. It's not a bad idea, even if you have, like, let's say your bankroll is 150 a slate or something like that, 200 a slate. It's still a good idea to get in those games, and like K. Phallic said, get in those games, then see how much you have left. And maybe you do have enough for a $100 single entry and a $9 slant still. You know what I mean? So it's still a good idea to check those games out, because they are probably, I'm playing them, but assuming they're probably softer, and, a definite good idea to, check those out if you're still eligible to play. So, yeah, just another thing. Here is King Chiefs 88. I think he had 2 teams, but I'm just showing the one that was a little better. He's put up 203. His team was Justin Herbert, Kenneth Walker, Zach Moss, Justin Jefferson, Mike Williams, Zay Flowers, was that Granson, Adam Thielen, and the Jets defense. What do you guys think of this team? I mean, from just the look of it, it looks fine to me as a team. I see plenty of correlation. He just, on a slate like we had on Sunday, I was talking about this with Big T. you really just can't in the higher like entry tournaments. You can't whiff on spots. You know what I mean? So you can't whiff on. Zay Flowers was a fine play in my opinion, but there was just so many other plays, and he gets 13. The tight end gets 2. There's really something to be said, and no defense. He didn't have the Bills defense, but there's really got to be something said for just locking in, even in tournaments, a Travis Kelce type, and just saying like the dude gets 15 to 20 week in and week out on most slates, and just saying I'm going to guarantee myself points with Travis Kelce most weeks. There's got to be something said for that, because I feel like every week I don't play this dude. And
we got screwed.
He puts up enough.
We got screwed. I'm sorry, but we did not know Taylor Swift was going to be at the game. I don't care what you say.
We did not know Taylor
Swift. We got
Swift
completely screwed by not having that news ahead of time. Like, where was AP to give us that pass? Where was AP to give us that news?
You think he catches that touchdown pass up 35?
Not a chance.
I mean,
no.
I was surprised he was even still in the game.
I think that was the only reason he was in the game.
Have you seen the articles that there's been such an increase in his jersey sales since the Taylor Swift attended the game? It's
K-Fallon, because there's like
the Swifties are insane.
Stardom, and then there's like Taylor Swift stardom, and there's a big and they're both stars, but there's a big difference between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And you would be shocked at how many people are Taylor Swift fans that had no idea who Travis Kelce was 100%. Until now. And now they're like, who's this guy? Oh, he plays football? Oh, he's not Mahomes? Okay,
I'm gonna buy his jersey I'm gonna buy his jersey in pink.
Yep, exactly. And that's what you'll see. It's gonna keep going up if they, keep seeing each other and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's gotta be something said for just locking in the Travis Kelce points and finding the cheapies and whatever to get it done, because we can always find salary savers, especially early in the year in NFL before the pricing kind of tightens up a little bit. So that's just something I'm just thinking out loud about. But yeah.
I mean, it's a good team. I mean, he just whiffed a bit on the Indy Baltimore game stack. It just wasn't the game that you wanted to play outside of Zach Moss.
It was the game from it went into OT. Like there was opportunity to be had. It just didn't,
Yeah, I mean, you got unlucky at defense too.
Yep.
I mean, 4 points when your defense only gives up 15 points is pretty unlucky. I mean, Granson, I thought was a fine tight end pivot in tournaments off of like a really chalky like Durham Smythe.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, I mean,
tournaments fading Smythe, so I like the idea of pivoting.
Miami's. The only thing I would say about these lineups, I would have loved to see a piece of Miami somewhere, just in tournaments. They had such a high team total, and like it kind of seems that one of them was going to go off. It ended up being the backup running back or Mostert. So, also for people saying that you can't play two running backs in the same team, you can. I mean, they went for 100 points, especially in showdown.
God.
Like I'm much more likely to do it in showdown than on like a main slate. But there were just some really, really extreme.
I mean, on showdown, you can definitely play two running backs from the same.
No,
team.
I get questions all the time
silly.
saying like, can I play Swift and Gainwell together? And I was like, yes. So. Yeah, I mean,
and it makes you different because people don't want to do that. They want to say, "I'm going to play this running back and hope he gets all the work." Like,
no, I think. I mean, going back to this team, it was a well-constructed team. The Baltimore game just didn't really work out for him, and then you're giving up, another 28 points of defense. Like probably almost everyone ahead of this team had the Bills' defense.
Yep.
So,
Fallick, anything else from you?
Nope. I'm good.
Perfect. All right. The last lineup we had, let me just grab it. Oh, no. Is that the last one? Okay, Falk, am I missing one? I might be missing one.
There was another one I sent you, I think. Hold on.
I think you did send me someone.
Yeah, some guy in chat just said Kelce gained 200,000 followers immediately.
Nope, there wasn't another one that I sent you. You're right. So, guys, I sent him 3 other lineups, but the problem is, and JSU hasn't said it yet, notice that we're pulling these lineups with the full information
I'm going to screen share this one.
From the desktop.
So this is a desktop screenshot right here, right? We got a ton of screenshots from the iPhone. It just doesn't work well with the screen share. So when we ask for lineups, I know not all of you can do it. Like sometimes you guys are at work, you know, you're doing it from your phone or whatever. So for this show, if you want us to review a lineup, try and give us something like this from the desktop here. That is the most preferred way to do it. By the way, this was my afternoon slate team. I played one afternoon slate. And this team was actually really, really good. I just needed Chark over Thielen. That, I don't know if you guys remember at the end of the game, he had that big catch on the left side that was out of bounds. That play was huge. That play, if he caught that, you know, I'm up at second or third. I needed Chark over Thielen at the end, the touchdown to go to Chark, or like Roshan, or Cowboys defense to do a little bit more. And
literally
this lineup would have been, you know, because everything else was the nuts. Like if you look at the rest, only one or two other people had Chark up here, besides me. None of them had Roshan. A lot of people had different defenses, so it had outs. It was just came short though. So.
I think it hasn't been discussed yet, but the impact of Trayvon Diggs with a torn ACL is a lot larger than I think people realize, because they're going to have to change their defense a little bit so they cannot be as aggressive and have that like front that's going to be able to stop the run the entire time. I think that's like the very critical piece, is that it's going to change some stuff with these Cowboys. The Cowboys, I think
it's going to change some stuff, Kevin, but I still think they just came out flat. They thought they were just going to roll right through Arizona, and Dak Prescott laid an egg. That's what happened. That interception, he threw it into triple coverage. That interception was horrible down there. It's so classic Dak. Like the Dallas Cowboys have so much talent. They could get to the Super Bowl. They won't though, because Dak Prescott. Everyone else is fine. It's Dak Prescott. He will always do that when you need him most. He'll turn the ball over. It cost him there. Like, thank God I was in Kentucky, because I would have been live betting the shit out of the Cowboys and I would have lost a ton of money. So thank God I was in Kentucky. But so anything else here, boys? I think we kind of talked through everything good. K. Fallick, final words from you.
Always enjoy doing these shows and looking forward to the upcoming week. We got to get another great slate. Haven't started looking through it, but I'm sure many of you have, and ready to get it going. I'm not going to be here next week for the review show. Unfortunately, I'll be traveling, but I know these two will hold down the fort. So
yeah, we'll have a good show here. We'll be all right without Mr. Fallick, even though we'll miss you. But Bryce, anything from you?
No. I mean, we got Ryder Cup this week. NBA starts in less than a month. I mean, we're going to be all hands on deck over here, providing content for it. And, it's been a really good NFL season to start the year. Been a really good college season to start the year for our members. So, just
and really good on the bet side.
The bet sides have been very good.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the whole package is great, and we're gonna roll it straight into NBA season, and it starts with the Ryder Cup this week in golf. I love the Ryder Cup. I'm a sucker for it. I think the game strategy is super interesting with like how to play it in tournaments, and people always play it wrong.
You waking up at 1 a.m. and watching the whole thing from and stuff like that?
I'm actually traveling to Utah on Friday, so maybe I'll be up at a weird time for that, anyways. But I have a wedding out in Utah this weekend.
Nice.
All right, nice. Are you in it, or are you just going to it?
No, it's one of my fiance's best friends.
Okay,
I got some boys over there to hang out with, so I love Utah. I think it's a beautiful place.
I've never been to Utah.
Traveling during football. You should go to Park City sometime. Varsity's
it's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe I'll have to check it out one of these times. But don't forget, guys, from Big T Shipper, 75K, he's doing 44% off code for the swag shop. So any of the gear, see me and Bryce got the sweatshirts on. We got the hats, everything. You can get 44% off right now. And then he'll draw a name from one of the people that used the code to get 44% off that bought some gear. And one of you guys will win a 555 ticket. So go over there, Run Pure Sports, use the code, 44% off code, get 44% off anything at the swag shop, and get into a drawing for a 555 ticket, courtesy of my guy Big T, shipped for over 75K last night in the 2-game slate. So good luck to everyone in your contest going forward. We'll see you guys back Thursday for the showdown stuff. We'll have all of you covered for the Thursday night showdown show. We'll be back Tuesday next week for the weekend review show. Big Daddy Phallic, Third and Schlong. I'm JSU. Good luck to everyone. We'll be out.